and about the future. And we deeply, deeply appreciate your role in this battle. I was thinking to myself, what would have been the right iconic image to project here in response to this travesty with the wall? And of course the instinctive answer would be, a blown up bus or some other horror committed in the days before the construction of the security barrier. But that's not the point. The point should be about what security enables in the positive aspect. And so if I was to choose what should be projected here, it would have been the images from Eid al-Fitr this year, which you probably did not see in your newspapers. Because it's very rare that good news are news in the minds of the people who make decisions as to what interests the average reader, unfortunately. But here's the point. About upwards of 1 million Palestinian people use the holiday to come to the beaches of Tel Aviv or Israel generally to enjoy themselves on the holiday without a single incident, without a single disruption. The only problem was, I can say this from experience, it was very difficult to find a parking place anywhere within a mile of the beach in Tel Aviv. Very interesting photos of Israelis, Palestinians, Muslim, Christians, Jews on the beach enjoying themselves. It could not have been done 10 years ago, when we were living under a very different set of circumstances. It would have been science fiction, so to speak, for this to be done. Because there was no security. And we could not take the risks involved. Today, with the unpleasant, ugly business of a security barrier, we are learning that good fences can make good neighbors, and that we can build up a relationship with our Palestinian neighbors in what we call the bottom-up effort, which is very rarely reported and very rarely discussed, under which we find avenues of cooperation on a daily basis on a broad range of issues. And you should ask yourself a simple question: how come it is that Ramallah, of all Arab seats of government, and there is a government in Ramallah, is one of the most stable, relatively prosperous, undisturbed by the violence and horrors that have enveloped other neighbors of ours in our immediate area? And a good part of the answer comes from this bottom-up process that we've undertaken in recent years in building up elements of cooperation. This cannot be done unless security is solidified. And so very much against the image that was previously projected in this place, the ability to provide better security is good not only for us. This is not a story about benefit for one side only. The benefits for daily life that flow from the establishment of a security system that works go both ways. Life is different in Netanya. It is also different, very different, in Jenin. It's different in the streets of Jerusalem. It is different in the streets of Ramallah. And those who would have us go back are actually doing a disservice to the very people that they think they are trying to help. This is a broader challenge. I would say, since you are engaged in a conversation with people who think that, and I salute you for doing so, let me put this in a very simple way. Those who speak of the redemption of the Jewish people, of the return to Zion, of the Zionist project, of Israel as a state, in terms of colonialism or apartheid, are above all doing a tragic disservice to the Palestinian people. Because, to be blunt, what is the meaning of these insults? Leave aside the insults. The Jewish people has lived with insults and taunts for 3,000 years and will continue to live with taunts, I assume, for a few more years to come. That's not the problem. The point is that when you speak of colonialism, when you speak of apartheid, you suggest that this is transitory, like colonialism, which is no longer with us, like apartheid, which, to our gratitude, is no longer with us. So what they are trying to say is, a day will come, in the not too distant future, in which Zionism and the State of Israel will be no more. And those who deliberately, or sometimes because of a misplaced sympathy with those that they deem to be the underdogs, support this kind of language, support this kind of conceptual framework. What they are doing is that they are selling the Palestinian people on a fantasy that will never be realized, because we are in Israel to stay. We did not have to wait. We did not have to wait for President Obama to come to Israel last March to tell us so, but he did, in no uncertain terms, and we appreciate his message. We are there not because of the Holocaust, although we are there to prevent another from happening. We are there because we have returned to an ancestral homeland, which we share with our Palestinian neighbors, which we've come to terms with the idea that we are going to have to share with our Palestinian neighbors, much as Abraham has come to share the land with Lot. If you remember, you go this way, I'll go that way. We understand this, but we are going to be there. The Zionist project will persist and prosper. And those who sell the Palestinian people on any other expectation and assumption is doing them a tremendous disservice, because it interferes with their ability to come to the necessary compromises that would enable a peace to be achieved. A stable, viable peace to be achieved. Security is part of any future peace agreement, any future arrangement under which we would continue to live together. It has to be. The lesson of the Israeli people from the last 15 years is that if we neglect this, we do it at our peril. And so when we have fought and won the battle against the suicide bombers, we did so on the basis of a number of things. The barrier, the physical difficulty that we place in the root of the would-be terrorist attackers is part of it. Another part of it, and I'd say this loud and clear, has to do with the resilience of our people. Because how do you deter a suicide bomber? It's not a simple answer. You're going to die, that much they know. The point we had to drive, through the resilience of our society, was just slightly different. You're going to die for nothing. Because the goal of breaking our spirit, the goal of breaking our resilience, is not achieved. And we have succeeded over time in driving this message. This is part of the answer to the question, why has this phenomenon declined so dramatically? At least in our part. But in order for this resilience to be sustained, in order for the people of Israel to know that their security will be sustained, the government, of course, had to take its own action. Resilience is a function also of your own government doing whatever needs to be done to protect you and to fight back. You know, I'm here in London. Again, I feel at home here. I wrote my PhD here. I lived here for 3 years. There's a debt that we owe to the City of London that can never be repaid for standing up to Nazi aggression and refusing to bow down. But the resilience of the British people through these crucial years was also sustained by the fact that they had a government that was willing to fight back. And even at the worst times to go and bomb Berlin on forlorn missions just to send a message. And so the resilience of a people has also to do with the commitment of government to the defense and protection and fighting back against terror. And I think the lesson that we learned from the experience of London, of wartime Britain, is relevant for what we've been doing over the last few years and the manner in which we won our own battle. But now we have to look towards the future. And in the struggle for the future, of course there will be security dimensions, security elements in the more narrow and specific sense of the word. Physical barriers, positioning of forces, the capacity to act on what they call nowadays actionable intelligence, so that is the knowledge of what the enemy, the terrorists, would be perpetrating. We've been successful in this respect, and we need to sustain our capabilities as part of any future review. But that's not the end of the story. Because when we speak of security, we also mean the need for the other side to understand what I've just told you. That we are a legitimate presence in our own land.